So when you first heard of Sam Childers' story, what were your reactions?
No way. Couldn't believe it. Really? I want to tell that. I want to. It's a profound story, you know, and one that I wish we had more of. So you come across that and you think, I feel blessed and honored to have been a part of the movie, you know, and to get a chance to get such a juicy role.
After everything Lynn and Sam have been through, they're still together. What do you attribute that to?
Gosh, I mean, they love each other a lot. You know, I mean, I also really believe that their dark side, their dark time, came years and years and years ago. You know, when they were, you know, kind of going down a rough road, and if they were able to journey and get through that, this has been difficult for them. But he's, you know, he's doing something really great as well, and she certainly has a lot of faith in him and believes in him, and it's not all been peaches and cream, certainly, but she has a real dedication to that marriage, and it's really something to admire.
This was the most intense role I've ever had to get into, and because it is all based on true facts about these horrific things that are happening that you can pass by in a conversation, you can, you know, leaf through in a newspaper, but suddenly when you have to sit on that for a year and work with it every day for months and go there in your head and go there emotionally, then no, it's powerful. I mean, my homework that I had on set with me was thousands of photos of kids who've been cut to pieces, you know, mass graves, and that's what I would look at that would take me to that space. But that's hard to do every day, and then to dive into the family, you know, the emotional issues you have with your wife, with your daughter, you know, with finances, with your own insanity, you know, with your own drug addiction, all of that. It's a lot of questions, a lot of issues.
It also seems like what you learned in preparing for this movie changed you in a big way too. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I don't think you can watch this movie and not be changed. And for me as an actor, without a doubt, you can't spend so much time involved in this character, in this story, learning everything that I learned about that part of the world, about that type of human being, and not remain in some ways moved, and in some ways changed, and some for the better, but also some for the worse. You know, sometimes when your eyes are open to things, you're kind of like, really, it's, you know, it's an intense experience to realize what is going on down in Sudan that we just don't know about. But what's cool about this movie is then you see this human reaction to it and what one person can do. You know, one person standing against that and saying, I won't accept that. You know, right or wrong, this is how I'm going to deal with it. And that's an inspiration for all humanity, I think.
When you're filming a role that is as intense as Sam Childers in this movie, what are you like as a guy on the set in between takes? Are you keeping to yourself? Are you cracking jokes to lighten the mood? What are you like?
Well, it's interesting because when we were in Detroit, still most of the movie was in a lighter note. I say later, no, it's a much later. And compared to Africa, where I went to in Africa, I say later, because that's the funny thing, this movie is so intense. But Detroit was probably a lighter part to the story, and there was such a warmth on the set. Everybody was constantly walking around going, God, for a movie that demands so much, it's a very friendly and warm set. But when it got to Africa, I think I had been going at it for a while now. It got much more intense. Africa's where Sam really gets pulled down and the life gets sucked out of him. He just gets ground out by everything he's going through. Then, just by spending months in that headspace and constantly your research is about, you know, the horrors of this militia and what they do to kids, and, you know, just that heartache of that fight. And then it started to weigh me down. So by the end of the movie, I probably wasn't as much fun to be around as I was at the beginning.
At the end of the film, you see actual photographs of the real-life Sam Childers who you play. And you learn that, you know, you got the facial hair right, and there actually is a resemblance there. However, he has a little bit of a paunch, in the photos at least. So I think he owes you a thank you, because you're in a lot better shape, I think, than he is necessarily.
Yeah, well, you know, I think if you're playing like a Hitler or a JFK or a Gandhi, you know, somebody who everybody knows who they are, you know, just immediately it's in their consciousness, then you have a little more responsibility to pull that off. But it was my talk with Mark Forster, because I remember originally saying, okay, so I'm going to get overweight and a big mustache. He's like, no, listen, let's not get too crazy, because in some ways you have to still retain that kind of heroic quality, and there is something almost so raw already in this movie about what Sam goes through that, you know, we kind of thought, well, we gotta give the audience something to hang on to. I can't believe I'm talking about it. That's a crappy question you just asked.
Really? I'm sorry. Well,
sorry.
people are saying that you're in crazy shape. I saw a photograph of you. I think you were like behind the scenes at some sporting match. I don't know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like not an ounce of body fat on you.
Yeah.
Where did it all go? I mean,
No,
you didn't
well,
have
it's
that
been
much
over-
anyway.
I didn't have a huge amount for the last while, but I've been my last movie. I was a soccer player in it, so I did a lot of training for that. So I was doing a lot of cardio, and over that time I was watching what I ate. I stopped lifting heavy weights, and then my next movie I'm playing a surfer. I don't want to make it easy for myself. And so I've been doing a lot of cardio there as well, and overall doing all of this motion. I've just stopped lifting weights, so I feel like I'm melting, but it's good. It's yeah.
What an amazing movie. I didn't know that I was going to need a whole box of Kleenex. You guys were so fantastic. And Gerard, I just want to start with you, because how on earth do you even begin to pour yourself into Sam Childers' life?
Yeah, no, they were big boots to fill, and it was a big challenge as an actor, you know, and not one that you could run away from, but one that, you know, just it was a joy to do, but it was hard work. And then where do you start? I could prattle on for hours about different things you do to try and become Sam Childers, but somewhere along that journey it happens, or you hope that it happens, and then you get to tell this amazing story with Michelle and everybody, Michael Shannon, and really I love when people come in and have that reaction, because it's that kind of movie. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Like, what can I do to help?
Yeah, they feel compelled to talk about it, and I think ultimately, you know, we were compelled to do it, and I think that's even the message at the end of it. It's so exciting to people, for us to hear people come in and be genuinely excited about it and really want to have responded to it in such a positive way.
What
Isn't that
impressed
great
you about
feeling?
this guy?
Wow, his preaching skills.
I will go to the church of Gerard Butler
Honestly,
any day.
thank you very much. I say that honestly, it was the first. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being preached to, and I listened. You know, I will have to say that day you could have heard a pin drop. I mean, the room. I mean, there were so many people in that room, and I was nervous for you. Honestly, I was, because it was such a big and moving scene, and it's the essence of Sam. You know, he's a preacher, and he moves people, and he's charismatic, and you do the same, but you really embodied Sam, and you just really went for it, and it was really incredible.
Yeah, everything was incredible, honest to God, really. And I can't imagine, to the two of you, after you finish, you know, you work on so many movies, and you know, but I can't imagine that after finishing this movie, it hasn't changed you in a little bit. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think you come back a deeper, richer person for it, you know, and to know that, in a bad way, that there's such horror out there that humans are capable of doing this to other humans was what constantly astounded me when I was making this movie. It would just come back and I go, really? This is happening? People do this? Even as I say it, I can't believe it. And then to think that there are people like Sam out there, you know, or people like you who get touched by this, or me or Michelle, who want to tell that story. So there's that humanity going on as well. So you definitely come out inspired as well.
Yeah, Michelle, and you're a mom. I mean, my God.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think anybody who's a parent, you know, to know and to be aware of, you know, what goes on the other side of the world, but to remember what kind of goes on in your own backyard too. And if you can't help people there, then you know, maybe you can help somebody in your own community as well.
Yeah. Very quickly, I saw Coriolanus the other day. outstanding.
I haven't seen it. I wanna see
Out-frickin'
it.
standing, okay? I mean, this one's good too. But really quickly, doing Shakespeare's words, is that harder than doing normal dialogue?
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's really rewarding as well because it takes that much more effort, but the language is so beautiful, and the more you become versed in it and confident in it, the more you see just how much richer, how much more perspective, how much more themes there are, or how many more themes. And very involving, you know, it really takes everything, and it's it's something you have to dive into, and especially to stand opposite Ralph Fiennes. It's like, I'm not just going to do Shakespeare,
pretty.
I'm going to go and on celluloid in front of the king of Shakespeare, you know. I'm so glad I did it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Anyway, you guys are so great. I wish I had more time, but hats off to both of you.
Thank
And thank you for
you.
telling this story.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you.
you.